Hey guys, Brandon and Tim here from the Hindle team. This week, for your Seller Saturdays, we're actually going to be talking about the 10 reasons why your house isn't selling. So if you've got a home on the market right now and it's not selling, or if you had a home on the market and you took it down, these are the 10 reasons why it might not have sold. And you know what? Number 8 might very well surprise you. So stick around, and if you like the content, be sure to subscribe. So, the first reason why your house might not be selling is bad first impressions. We've talked about it time and time again. First impressions are one of the most important things that you can do when you're selling your home. We call it the 3x8. Really, you have 3 separate times, 8 seconds each, that you need to impress these people. You need to impress them online with your online marketing, your images, everything else. You have to impress them as they walk up to the property, and you have to impress them as they're inside the property. And you have about 8 seconds each of those times to make sure that they fall in love with the property. So if you're falling through on any of those 3 things, if it's online and you're not getting as many people looking at your listing, that's going to hurt you. If it's as they're getting out of their car and they're walking up and the front maybe looks a little dilapidated or a little uncared for, then you're going to want to make sure that you're taking care of that kind of stuff. And especially right as they walk in the door, if someone sees all these little things, they're going to get nitpicky as they go along. So make sure the house looks great and make sure you're creating a great first impression.
Yeah, definitely. The second point, to jump right into it, is incorrect pricing. So, your home might be priced a little too high, it might be priced a little too low. Both of these are probably going to hurt your chances of selling your home. If you're priced too low, a lot of people might not consider you serious about selling your home. They might look at it and think that you're probably looking to just drive in competition and make people compete with each other in order to bring it up to its actual market value. And if your home is too high, people might just assume that you're trying to get people to come through your home, and you're not actually trying to sell your home. You're just seeing if you can get someone to bite on a higher price and get it sold at an elevated price that they're willing to entertain. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? So the third reason why your house might not be selling is staging problems. So if your house is for sale and you have a lot of people coming in and your listing agent's getting a lot of feedback on how the home doesn't look great, or certain things, or they're just nitpicking every little bit here or there, that might be one of the issues, is poor staging. Because honestly, poor staging, not only will it create, like we were talking about earlier, great first impressions as they're walking through the property, but it shows great in pictures. So make sure you have a professional stager come through, and even if you don't want to spend money on staging, or even if your listing agent doesn't have a staging package included, then make sure you're bringing a stager in and at least getting a consultation and finding out what you can do with the stuff you have and what they would suggest you do, and listen to them. I know you might sit there and you go, oh, that doesn't feel right to me, but you need to listen to that stager. They know what they're talking about. They're staging your home for the type of buyer that might be buying it. So make sure you listen to their advice and you don't have a poor staging problem.
Yeah, so tying into this a little bit is number 4, and that's showing issues. You need to be accommodating for people coming through your home, whether it's 7, 8 p.m., or even in the middle of dinner. These people are essentially going to be the ones who are buying your home. So if they're not even able to come through and tour the property, they're never going to be willing to put in an offer for the home. So this is something that you need to do. And I know it's not fun. It never is. But it's something that you need to do if you're serious about selling your home. On top of that, another thing you should consider is making sure it looks the same way it did in those photographs. People have typically looked at these pictures online before coming in for a showing, and if it looks like a completely different home than it did in those photographs, it might lack that charm or appeal that it did to those people in the first place, and might completely destroy the reason for even coming to the property for them. So there's no real point in them showing up if it's not the home that they were initially interested in purchasing. So really make sure that it keeps that same charm or same level of interest or focus or style, just to keep people interested into what they were originally going for.
Yeah. And so the 5th reason your house isn't selling, or the 5th reason your house may not be selling, is problems with the house. And you need to be honest with yourself about these. If there's issues with the house, if it looks older, or if there's some damage in some areas that hasn't been addressed, then this is stuff that might be the reason why it's not selling. And there's 2 things you can do about this. You can either suspend the listing and fix the issue, or fix the issue before you list it, or you can drop the price, because that'll be the 2 things that'll affect it. If your house isn't selling and it's because there's problems with the house, then dropping the price or suspending it and fixing those issues are the 2 things that you need to do to make sure your house sells.
Yeah, definitely. The 6th issue is a little bit different from the others, but it's location. There might be a lot of construction going on in your area, a new build development going in behind you, and some people don't typically like this. If they're waking up in the morning, or if they've got a slightly later start and construction starts behind them at 7 a.m., they're probably not going to be interested in this, knowing that it's going to carry on for the next few years. So that can really affect the value of your property if people aren't willing to do that. They might be looking at, having children in the future. If it's a newer neighborhood and there isn't a school yet, this can typically hurt the value of your home, because if they have to drive their children to school every morning, it might not be something that they want to do. Rather than moving a little bit closer, they can walk to school with their friends. So that can hurt as well.
Yeah, and so the seventh reason why your house isn't selling, or why it might not be selling, is actually because you might have a bad agent. And I know some people might laugh at me for saying this, and I'm an agent calling other agents bad agents. I know. But the reason I have this out there is because there's a lot of real estate agents out there. There's thousands of us just in the GTA alone, most of them who don't sell any homes and don't really have a lot of experience and don't really educate themselves on a lot of things that they should be doing nowadays to sell a home. So don't go out there and choose your cousin or your best friend's friend who's a realtor. You want to make sure you're choosing an agent based off of what they bring to the table. And that doesn't mean don't interview your friend who's a realtor or your cousin. Interview them too. Just interview other agents as well and see what they all offer and see how much it's going to cost you, and actually for great agents how much it's going to make you, and that will help you get the best possible person out there to sell your house. So one of the reasons why your house isn't selling might be because it's a bad agent, and make sure you look at that.
Yeah. So number 8, which is what a lot of people are probably interested in hearing about, is actually marketing problems and issues. The real estate market has really changed in the last few years. There's aerial photography, videography, drone shots, everything is being done. All the staging consultations people are doing. It's a really expanding market, and there's so many new innovations that people are taking to look at this to get done, right? Even VR in the coming years is going to be a huge factor. People not even having to drive out to these showings, just being able to sit in their living room, throw on a headset, and tour this property virtually. So there's a lot of things that you need to do to market this home properly. There's also Facebook marketing, for example. They can post it on websites that they have personally up. All of these are great tools that people are able to utilize in order to properly market this home, to get it shown to as many people as possible, because the more people that see your home, the better your chances are to actually sell it to someone who is interested.
Now, the one thing I will cover as well in terms of the marketing is with the marketing, Tim mentioned Facebook advertising, which is huge, but there's also way more there. Social media campaigning and online, it can be so much more as well. Just through writing a blog and bringing a lot of eyes to a website, you can bring a lot of extra eyes to a listings who might not have seen it already. So having all that, having an agent who has that platform kind of developed and is building it, will bring more eyes to your property naturally and organically than any other agent will. Yeah. So make sure you're looking for that in the marketing as well. So the 9th reason why your house isn't selling is actually potentially poor timing. So I know that's one of the hard things. You really can't time the market, and that's something a lot of agents say, is timing the market's impossible. But it might just be that you're listed at poor timing, and that might not just be market conditions. It might be the fact that you list your house and then 3 of your neighbors list their houses at the same time, at which point you have a lot of competition. So it could just be poor timing. So with that, if it's something like on your street where you've got a few agents who are a few other neighbors who are all trying to sell their homes at the same time, then that is something that is a little harder to compete with. Really, you want to make sure you have an agent that's making your listing look competitive compared to those, and you have an agent who's using those other listings to get people looking at yours as well. And there's a lot you can do there online to make sure you're targeting people in the area who are actually coming to see those properties that are going to see yours as well. So you can do a lot there. And if it's poor timing in the market, you also have to sit there and consider the fact that if you're moving in the market to the same market, or even just outside of it, where it's still all being impacted by market conditions, then when you're selling your house at a lower value, you're also buying your new house at a lower value. So even though, yes, you're selling your house and you're not getting quite what you want for it, you're also getting a better deal on this house you're buying potentially. So make sure you look at all of that when you're looking at it, and make sure you know what might be a poor timing issue.
Yeah, okay. And the final problem we're going to cover for this week is a lack of motivation. So it might not even be an external factor that you're looking at when selling your home. It might just be purely due to you. You really need to look at yourself and see whether or not selling your home is actually something you're interested in. And if you're not motivated, you're not being accommodating for those showings, for example, or you're just really showing no interest in, tidying up the place, having it showing ready all the time, it's really going to impact your odds of selling your home, and even considering pricing, being willing to drop that price because you need to get this home gone or sold. They're all important factors to consider, and you might not even want to move in the end, right? So really look at yourself and see if it's the right decision to make, even before listing it on the market. Make sure it's what you want to do, because if you're not ready to do it, it's better not to do it in the first place, right? So always consider that.
Yeah, so you know what? These are the 10 reasons why your house might not be selling. And I hope they've helped you out. I hope that you've found something in them. And if you have, we'd love to help you out if you're interested. As long as you don't have an agent, we can't work with you if you have an agent. But if you need any help or you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to either of us anytime. You can find our information on the Hindle Team website. And if you love this video, be sure to subscribe, like our Facebook page, and comment.
Yeah. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks so much.